Corey Erdman here alongside Al Bernstein at his second home in Canastota, New York, the International Boxing Hall of Famer. Al, how's the weekend been going for you so far?
You know, very nice. I'll tell you what's interesting about this weekend. Unlike the one 2 years ago when I came here and I was inducted, where you're racing around and, you know, you literally have not 1 second to think about what's happening. I'm kind of really enjoying this in a way as a boxing fan. I'm doing some material and taping things, but I'm kind of really drinking in the whole idea of it. And I'll tell you, for anyone that has never been to this Hall of Fame weekend, it is so enjoyable, and the people are so accessible. It's just a lot of fun.
I find that interesting because even the most famous of fighters around here seem to get excited meeting the other fighters. Is that kind of coming out in you, the fan in you coming out this weekend?
Absolutely. And, you know, you see one of the seminal moments of this every year is when at the dinner, you know, on Saturday night, they have everybody lined up backstage to make your entrance for the head table. And you sit in these chairs with all the names. And every year, I make an excuse for having to get up for a moment like I'm doing something so that I can look and scan all the names. And when you look from left to right, there's maybe 50 people there. It's like the history of the sport for the last 50 years. And anybody that's not excited about that, then they're a little too jaded.
Do you still find it strange when you come here and you're one of the personalities that everyone's going after? Because for so long you've been on the other side of the coin as the reporter, as the journalist. Is that still strange to you when you come here?
You know what's fascinating, and you know this from doing TV, it's a real strange juxtaposition because on the one hand you're the chronicler of events, and so I started out as a newspaper person, and enough years ago, back in the day when newspaper people were supposed to be anonymous. You reported, but that's all you did. And even on television, my theory has always been you're there to be the guidepost for the events. You're not there to take it over. But inevitably, because you're on TV for a long time and because you're giving people insight, they want to talk to you, and so you kind of quickly adjust to the fact that you're going to be you're not only covering, you're also part of the event, but it does create some strange dual feelings.
Would you, in all the years that you've been here, would you say that this is the busiest that it's ever been? I think that the Tito and Oscar, the size of the crowd here already early on in the weekend seems larger than anything I've ever seen here.
Yeah, I think, you know, there was a year when Chavez and Tyson were inducted here when it was and Stallone. Yeah, they were pretty big names. And of course the year I was. Oh no, wait, no, that's not true. But no, but yeah, this one is big. I mean, you know, you have really three icons from different parts of the world. You know, Oscar De La Hoya, an American, and Tito Trinidad, who brings out all the great Puerto Rican fans, and Joe Calzaghe, who is huge in the UK. You know, his nickname, the Pride of Wales, is an appropriate one. And I go over and do fights in the Great Britain, and all through Great Britain, he is revered. So it's a pretty strong group.
All right, I have to ask, since Oscar is here, and of course you work for Showtime, what do you think is going to happen, you know, now that the company sort of is in flux? Do you have any sort of read on what's going to happen as far as what fights are going to come to your network?
Well, this is going to sound like I'm being coy, and it's going to sound disingenuous, but honestly, I don't know. And I, you know, I'm not on the level of that decision-making process, and others may be already a part of it, but I think it's this is just a general comment on it. I think nobody really knows how this is going to shake out. And I think somebody that tells you I know exactly how this is all going to play out is just guessing, because we don't know. And it's a very weird situation. It's in flux, I think you used that phrase, and it has implications all through boxing. Now, I saw an article that assumed, of course, right away that the connotations would all be negative, and even use the infamous and quote, "Boxing is dying." You know, I love that phrase. It has to be. Yeah, it has to be. And this was a boxing writer that put it in there, and you know, not just a member of the casual media that covers boxing once in a while. We don't know if it's going to have super negative results, super positive results. We just don't know yet. But there's no question, the one thing you can say, it's going to have some serious ramifications in the sport.
The one thing that seems, I don't know if evident is the right word, but it seems to me like Floyd has some sort of involvement in this, where this is him wanting to be better than Oscar at promoting, as he tried to be at a fighter, and this is also Floyd versus Bob Arum, maybe trying to be now that #2 Mayweather Promotions instead of Golden Boy.
It could be. You know, I don't know how much, and let's face it, the one thing we do know is that the issues in Golden Boy have been brewing for a while. And whether, I don't know how much of that was external or how much of it was internal in the relationship between Richard Schaefer and Oscar De La Hoya. One of the things that bothers me is that we are forced to talk about this at this Boxing Hall of Fame. And it's a newsworthy topic, because I just, all I can say is I have no dog in this hunt in my mind, but it would be much nicer if Oscar De La Hoya's induction into the Boxing Hall of Fame could be a more pleasant experience where nobody's got this on his mind, but not to be.
All right, well, before we let you go, let's look ahead at a fight that Oscar and Richard put together when everything was harmonious. Canelo and Lara coming up in about a month's time on Showtime pay-per-view. I think the smart boxing fan is picking Lara in this one, but are people overthinking this? Is Canelo a little better than people are giving him credit for?
Well, here's the question. Okay, let's go back. Is this fight going to look like Lara versus Angulo? If it looks like Lara versus Angulo, and we saw Canelo, I think, learn his lessons from the Mayweather fight. Now, granted, Floyd Mayweather, very difficult to fight, the master boxer. But I think even Canelo, if somebody could put truth serum in him, would say, I didn't attack Floyd Mayweather. I may have lost, but I fought the wrong fight. I think he was much too tactical. He didn't try to fight that other fight. Whether we would have been able to is another question. Then he comes out against Alfredo Angulo, who, of course, is a brawler, but we saw Canelo come forward and say, I'm going to throw combinations, I'm going to be a destroyer. Angulo was able to do that against Erislandy Lara in what I thought was one of the best fights of the year last year, and very nearly had him out. He had him down twice. Now, if Canelo can do that, then, and be that kind of fighter, he could give Lara many difficulties. But if Lara can make the pace like he did against Austin Trout, and make it a very tactical pace and outbox Canelo, then clearly he's going to do that. I actually see this as a 50-50 fight. Yeah, that's the way I look at it.
Well, we're looking forward to that fight, and we'll let you get back to being a fan and a celebrity at the same time.
I have some autographs to get. I got yours already, so I'm good on that score. Now I got to go get some more.
Excellent. Thank you so much, Al.